made the mistake of watching Louis Theroux's new documentary, Inside the Manosphere, because overnight my feed was hijacked. It went from film trailers and dog videos to an aggressive, endless stream of alphas screaming into microphones and dog videos. My homepage was buried under Chad aesthetics, pure misogyny, and guys in sunglasses telling me how to dominate the Matrix. And as I sat there scrolling through this graveyard of content, I realised we're living in the worst possible timeline. Because we used to point and laugh at the village idiot. Now we give them a ring light, so 1 million subscribers, and treat them like philosophers.
What about bone smashing? Does one dude keep spamming that the whole time?
Bone smashing, yeah, bone smashing is amazing. So you're gonna brace your head and you punch yourself in the face. And what this is doing is this is creating microfractures. And according to Wolff's Law, the bone is gonna grow back stronger.
Gordon Bennett.
Getting old sucks.
There used to be a time when society demanded at least a fraction of human substance. If you were physically flawless but completely empty inside, you were a punchline, you're an airhead or a bimbo. Those phrases existed because we still collectively agreed that having looks without substance was a negative trait. You had to bring something else to the table to be respected. But today, we don't even bother scratching at the surface anymore. We just blindly consume the shell. The physical aesthetic isn't just a hook anymore, it's the entire product. I wanted to try and understand exactly when things got this bleak. When did we start happily consuming empty vessels? To find the answer? No, you don't look at the internet. Look at Hollywood. There was a time when being a professional dirtbag actually looked like a lot of fun. Back in 2004, the American dream was simple. You take a violent, racially motivated felony conviction in Boston, run it through the HBO car wash, and emerge as Vinny Chase. Entourage was the blueprint for modern bro culture, and it operated on a very specific, fleshy, organic kind of misogyny. It was celebratory. It was, hey, let's cast an active porn star as our lead actor's serious girlfriend because fuck yeah. Look, the boys of Entourage were toxic, sure, but they were undeniably human. They bled, they panicked, they tanked at the box office, they legitimately seemed to like each other. They were tethered to the physical world. The goal was tangible: fame, mansions, proximity to power, and a power lunch with Ari Gold. But look at where that flesh and blood hustle ended up. Today, Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven, he's doing $150 steak dinner experiences in fading provincial steakhouses. He's stuck doing stand-up for crowds who haven't quite realised the mid-2000s are over. It's desperate, it's pathetic, but it's still fundamentally human. But the internet ripped the bro out of Hollywood and dropped it into the Matrix. Enter the Replicant. Entourage was the organic man. Andrew Tate was Roy Batty. Notice the past tense, his relevance is gone, but for a brief window he was the combat model, built for violence in a kickboxing ring, operating in an artificial off-world landscape of crypto scams and Romanian compounds, and allegedly sex trafficking. But just like Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner, Tate was a violent hybrid rebelling against his creator, screaming about the Matrix while being entirely sustained by its algorithms. The fun of the Entourage era was dead. Misogyny was no longer a breezy byproduct of the Hollywood lifestyle, it was a militant defensive posture. He flexed physical organic wealth, but he only existed to his followers as a digital phantom. He was the violent bridge between the physical bro and the digital void. But just like the replicants, his lifespan was short, his moment expired. But now we're at the end of the line, the final de-evolution. It started with the flesh, it transitioned to a replicant, but we've finally arrived at the Mecha. When a Looksmaxxing influencer like Clavicular pops up on your feed, you aren't looking at a sleek, sexy Terminator. For the very first time in the history of internet hustle culture, you're looking at a pure naked desperation. You're looking at an empty shell. He is David, the stunted, tragic boy droid from Steven Spielberg's AI. You can see it perfectly in his kick streams because his life isn't real, it's a simulation of a life. They are just curated snapshots of crowded VIP booths, surrounded by girls who are only in his physical space to siphon off his clout. It's a parasitic ecosystem of bottom feeders and sycophants. We've had these people since the dawn of humanity, but now we've just strapped ring lights to them and broadcast the emptiness worldwide. When he performs the act of kissing for the camera, look at it. There's zero passion behind his eyes. He kisses like a droid. It isn't an act of intimacy. It's an algorithm executing a command prompt. He's simulating human behavior to prove his MOG rating to the chat. Who's watching? Who is the chat? It's an audience of lost boys who no longer exist in their own physical reality. They're terrified of the real world. And honestly, you can't blame them. Growing up today means living under a constant surveillance style state run by your own peers. Every awkward rejection, every failure, every vulnerable moment is documented and permanently archived. When the real world is that hostile, you try to edit the humanity out of yourself before the internet can punish you for it. It brings us to Spielberg's AI and the great misunderstanding of that. For 25 years, people believed Spielberg ruined Stanley Kubrick's dark script by slapping a happy, sentimental alien rescue ending onto it. But that wasn't Spielberg. Kubrick demanded that ending. Those weren't aliens, they were highly advanced mechas from the future. The ending of AI isn't a happy reunion, it's the bleakest joke in cinematic history. David doesn't become a real boy. The machines just hook his brain up and give him a 24-hour Matrix-level simulation of his mother's love. He gets one single day of fake algorithmic intimacy, and then he powers down into the dark forever. He accepts the simulation because for him, the real thing is unattainable. And that's exactly what you're watching on a Clavicular stream. The audience in the chat has opted out of reality entirely. They don't know how to step out of their front doors and forge actual human connections, so they settle for a simulated, algorithmic version of intimacy. They get their brief hit of fake love from the screen, then they log off into the dark. Today, the boy droids mutilate themselves. They literally smash their own facial bones with hammers and inject unregulated peptides into their jaws. They think if they can just perfect their canthal tilt, they will finally cross the uncanny valley and simulate human worth. But the aesthetic's just a shell.
I got a huge boner too right now because I was just thinking about this hot chick from work, and I just took a bunch of melanotan, as you know. So now I got a boner. So that's that.
The eyes are dead. We traded the sun-drenched, consequence-free hedonism of Vinny Chase for a generation of young men frozen in a digital childhood, waiting for a mother that is never coming to wake them up. But maybe that's the real reason why Jeremy Piven can still pack a provincial steakhouse, despite the absolute desperation of clinging to the Ari Gold tier. People still pay to see him because underneath the casual misogyny, the rampant homophobia and the bullying of that era, there was an actual bond, a brotherhood forged in fire. Entourage eventually lost its way, but at its very core, there was a grounding in something real. Audiences responded to that humanity. The kids consuming Andrew Tate and Clavicular's content don't have that yet. They're just human Davids. But the hopeful truth? Most of them will grow up. They'll eventually come of age, log off and realise the algorithm lied to them. Because the truth is, Looksmaxxing will never ever beat personality maxing. You cannot bone smash your way to soul. In the long term, human maxing, love maxing win every single time. You can build the perfect meat soup. It means absolutely nothing if there isn't a real human inside. And I promise you this, absolutely nobody is going to pay $150 to attend a Clavicular Steakmaxxing dinner in 15 years' time. Do better.
Would you like to know more?
Movies, popcorn.